Hello all, this is Captain JJ here, returning you back to the F-Zero recreations video. Last time around we did great style with Mr. EAD, and now we're going to move on to one of the lesser known machines, well, more of a cameo machine, depending on which way you look at it. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to be notified of all my uploads. Now let's return to the video. Anyway, as I was saying, we are now moving on to what could be described as a cameo to the Star Fox series, or a nod to it, whichever way you want to call it. Yes, I'm talking about the little Wyvern driven by James McCloud, allegedly Fox McCloud's father, but he is the father in the Star Fox continuity, so let's just forget about the Star Fox continuity for now. We only have zero continuity, so let's jump in and do the machine. As you notice, I've done it into a grey because it's because the Wyverns are more on the grey side of it, but he does have a blue front, so we're just going on to do the front now. Because of the fact that it doesn't do the whole front, so I'm going to have to do a decal front section just to improvise. So we're going to cover the whole front section with a blue colour. As you can see, the colour sections can only use a standard, you can't use special colours for the decals, but we've been through that enough times, so let's move on. So we're just going to cover the entirety of the front section in the blue colour, making sure we don't go over the tyre rubbing. There we go. We're going to duplicate on the other side just to make sure what we're doing essentially is covering the entirety of this front end and making sure we get the right colour. As you can see, I got a little bit on the confused side. We duplicate that one, and we have done essentially what is the front section. Now all I'm doing is just making sure every colour, every piece of decal is the same colour, because there were two very similar colours and I didn't like that. So now we're going to move on to the bonnet. It's going to be a split. I say it's going to be a split. Hello, can we get onto the decals? Thank you very much. So what we're doing here is splitting it into two. The first part is going to be the blue section, which is going to be covering the bottom part. I say when you're ready. Thank you. This is going to be in the blue colour which we did earlier, making sure that's in the right colour, and there you go, that's half the bonnet done. We're going to move on to the top section now, which is going to be black. Yep, there we go, thank you very much. Because this is on the bonnet, we can get away with overlapping, but we don't want to overlap the blue, so this is going to be in black. Thank you very much. Because it's a little bit of a split personality on the front end, so blue on the bottom, black at the top, represents the cockpit section. Hey, enough fancy dazzy stuff, and there we go, we are done with the front section. Let's move on to another section. Okay, so now we're going on to the side. A lot really needs to be done, it's just, we're going to be focusing more on the rear section of this machine. So what we're going to do here is look for a pattern. I'm looking for a circular pattern because of the machine, and to be honest, I had a bit of an issue trying to find it. As you can tell, I'm looking through all the shapes in the world, but I'm not in the exactly shape type here. What you need to go to is shape 2 and look for a thick circular section like so. We're going to put this at the rear of the machine. I say we're going to put this at the rear of the machine. Hello, where are you going? And we're going to stretch it out a little bit to make sure it doesn't cover over the rear end, because it's a bit of a clean rear end and we don't want anything else to get away with it. Like so. Now we're going to colour it in the same colour of the blue as we did on the front. It looks a little bit darker on this one, but it's okay, it's fine. So what we're going to do is rinse and repeat. So this section is a little bit on a speedy up part. We're going to do exactly the same as we did before, but when I was doing this, I realised that it was overstretching in some areas, so that it was going onto the back of the machine, which is not something you want to do with this, because it doesn't go to the back of the machine. So what I'm doing here is that I am just duplicating it a little bit, and then what I'm going to do is shorten it. And then I'm going to do the rinse and repeat section while I was at it. Now this was a little bit of an oversight, but that's sometimes what you do at times. When you got to learn these things. You make mistakes, you learn from it. You rectify the mistakes, you carry on. So what we're doing here is making sure we do that. Hello, there we go, thank you very much. Now, sometimes it can get a little bit on the confusing side if you delete the wrong one, and it doesn't make you look very good. It makes you look a little bit silly when you're trying to do that, and you duplicate it on one side and you don't, and you completely forget what you're doing on the other, and you delete the wrong one. It happens. So what I'm doing here is just making sure each one is even, it's all good, it's all lovely, it's all beautiful. And we're also going to make sure it looks absolutely identical on both sides. And also when you're doing this, make sure you duplicate symmetrically, because if you duplicate opposite, it will be a mirror effect. And you don't want to be doing mirror effects when each shape is exactly the same. Nah, not a very good look. So, okay, so we're doing this section so far, and then we have to miss the top part, so we're just going to cover the top, duplicate. Now that's what happens when you duplicate on the opposite side instead of the symmetrical. So duplicate symmetrically, and I got to do exactly the same again, haven't I? Yeah, there we go. Go to the top of the side of the machine, and there we go. That's your size done. Now I'm also going to do a little something else on here. I'm going to cover a bit more on the front section too, because it covers blue and it does overlap a little bit. So duplicate on the opposite side, and that's that done. Now I'm just having a look and see. Now the little winglets on the top, which keep the tires cool, they're in black. So it's meant to simulate the little black rails on the front of the machine of little Wyvern. So what I'm doing there is just adding that as well. There we go. That's all done. That's all beautiful. That looks fantastic. And now we're going to have a look elsewhere. Now I did have a think about what I was doing with the black line, with the white line. I was trying to extend the line a little bit towards the back, but well, let's just put it this way, I messed up a bit. So what I'm going to do is switch the camera around to the roof section, and then move the camera to the back, and do it that way. There we go. That's better. Although it does need to move up a little bit. Up, downwards? Oh, no, that's not the right way. It needs to be moved upwards so it doesn't overlap. Oh well, what can you do? Hey, I'm roasting myself here because I'm the one who did the machine. So we're going on to the... and now we're just going to make sure it goes all the way down to the bottom. And then you need to make that line ever so slightly thicker though, so that we can actually get it correct. There we go. Now now I did think about doing the back section, doing exactly the same. Yeah, I did actually not think this one through. Sometimes that happens. Color in black, duplicate on the other side. I could have done it with just a light. So now what we need to do is just move on into the next section. There was a little bit of a cut there because I realized I was duplicating footage. But anyway, back to the video. We are just setting up the next line, which is going to be blue, like so. And we are going to be doing that on the other side as well. And I hope you've been enjoying this video. It really been more me roasting myself than anything. But if you had, please leave a like and subscribe. Please do subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell to receive more notifications. Now we're going on to the next section. Now we're just now going to put the numbers in. Now I realised I don't quite have the numbers I really wanted to have. So yeah, I looked at the one. I was like, no, that doesn't go. So what I'm going to do instead is find another number. So I'm going to put number 1. We are number 1. And I took a liking to the DTM number, so we're going to use that instead. And I thought about using another one, car 1, but I've added that as favourite. And I need to do the same with number 0. And then re-go for number 1 to try and add it to favourites. So what I added favourites to do is so that you find it easily. So just put the 1 in there. Now our number is in white. No, the number is in white. We're not looking at that. Thank you very much. Duplicate the layer, move it around, and we just need to replace it with 0. There we go. Move it across so it doesn't overlap. So now we're going to move on to the same section. It took a bit of time, but I decided in the end to go for it into the little refueling section because that's the only place it was, which would have really matched up. So we're just going to put this here, duplicate the numbers, do it on the other side. I say do it on the other side. Thank you very much. That's very good. And we replaced the 1 with 0. We need to go zooming in. I say we need to go zooming in. Thank you very much. I put it next to each other. There we go. Duplicate on the other side. Go to the other side. Move it across. And we are done with the numbers. The numbers are pretty good to me. So let's zoom out. Okay, this is a final preview of the machine. I did change the color, which you will see at the end of this video. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section below. This is happening on a weekly basis, and I will be continuing with the uploads in dailies for the next week. Anyway, until next week, Mad Wolf Goodbye.